Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Corporate Culture and Employee Engagement course. We will have 4 modules. During each webinar, I will provide a large number of materials. I will provide you with a large amount of statistical data, reports, and so on. You will have access to all these materials. Let me briefly tell you about myself. I have over 15 years of experience in the field of human resources management. I started working at the company Alpha Insurance. Then I moved to work at insurance company PZU. After that, I started working in the hotel industry at the Fairmont Grand Hotel Kyiv. After that, I transferred and worked at the Fairmont Hotel in Chicago. Then I returned and worked at the Hyatt Regency Kyiv. And after that, I changed fields and started working in the IT industry at the company Wentrum. And now I work at the company Trionica. I'll briefly talk about the course program. During first module, we will start talking about corporate culture and values. What exactly is corporate culture? What are the definitions? What does corporate culture influence? What types are there? What is it composed of? And we'll discuss what values are and what these values consist of internally. During second module, we will talk about the assessment, methods of evaluating corporate culture, and the stages of changing and implementing corporate culture. There will be the most important slide of the course, which needs to be thoroughly understood and mastered, and the role of the leader in implementing and maintaining corporate culture. Next, during third module, we will talk about employee engagement. We will discuss what engagement consists of and how it is interconnected with corporate culture. What is the difference between engagement, loyalty, and employee satisfaction? And during the fourth module, we will talk about what influences employee engagement, about categories of employee engagement, and about methods for assessing engagement in an organization. All right, let's start the first module, the concept of corporate culture. I'll give you 3 definitions. The first definition is quite scientific, the most complex one. It was given by Edgar Schein. He is an American psychologist. He has a large number of works specifically in the HR field, so I'm giving you his definition. It's a big one. Corporate culture is a set of collective basic assumptions invented, discovered, or developed by a group of people as they learn to solve problems of adaptation to the external environment and internal integration that have proven to be effective enough to be considered valuable and passed on to new members of the organization as the correct way to perceive, think, and act. In this definition are important points to pay attention to. The first is basic assumptions. What are basic assumptions? These are our views, our basic models of behavior, our attitudes towards certain situations. Next, invented and developed specifically by a group of people. When we talk about corporate culture, it's a collective effort. And when we continue to talk about the implementation and development of new values, it's a collective effort. A group of people create these values, therefore, developed or produced by a group of people. Next, solving problems. If it's within organizations, it is either created or chaotic when it's not influenced by the management, HR, or it's intentional. It is created to achieve the company's goals and solve the company's problems, challenges that arise before us, and so on. And the fourth important element in this definition is perception, thinking, and actions. When we developed certain behavior patterns within the company, all employees should use these behavior patterns in all possible situations. For example, in some corporate cultures, challenges are whirlwind of emotions. No one don't know where to run, what to do. And for others, it's a normal way of life. Here you see a slightly easier definition. Corporate culture is a system of values, meanings, norms of behavior, and beliefs that are shared and adhered to by employees. Corporate culture includes employee behavior, beliefs and values, professional knowledge and skills, management and decision-making style, communication and interaction style. Firstly, it's a system of values, because corporate culture consists of values and meanings. Here is very important that the employees demonstrate certain values and beliefs. And these values are collectively shared by the employees. That is, our values are not just hanging on the wall for decoration, but the employees share them and adhere to them, meaning they demonstrate them in their behavior. And this set, it then provides an understanding of what our corporate culture is. Because we might have one thing hanging on the wall, but we see that in the team, we have different values, different behavior. And the simplest definition, corporate culture, is how things are done in the organization. Essentially, culture is an unspoken social order within the organization. It shapes our attitudes towards certain things and our behavior. Cultural norms determine what is encouraged, what is not recommended, what is accepted, and what is rejected by a group of people. If the corporate culture is properly aligned with personal values, if it resembles personal values, aspirations, and needs, it can unleash an immense amount of energy for common tasks and goals, enhancing the organization's actual ability to thrive and grow. Therefore, it is very important that it is crucial for the employees who are in our company and those we hire that their values do not contradict the values of the company. Because then, instead of feeling completely at ease and acting with the understanding that your actions align with the company's values and will be well received, you will spend a lot of time thinking, is this behavior going to be acceptable or not? How will this be perceived? Will there be any judgment against me? And so on. All right, let's move on. These are 4 statements. Corporate culture cannot be copied. We say that corporate culture consists of values and behavior patterns, which were developed by a group of people. And let's say there are companies, a large number of companies, that have values like people, or the value of humanity, or the value of results, or values of customer orientation. Many companies are customer-oriented according to their values, but how it is implemented, what they invest inside this value, it will be different, and it will be implemented differently in the company. That's why the corporate culture cannot be copied. Henry Ford once said that always if you launch something new, you have only one thing that can be your privilege, because others might also have a large amount of money to develop something better. Others might have more opportunities to develop it faster. The only thing you can compete with others is the level of service, which cannot be copied, because service is provided by people. Similarly, corporate culture will actually be your company's unique identifier, which cannot be copied, unless you move all your people under a different logo. The culture is much more resilient than people. It's because when one employee leaves, the culture doesn't go anywhere. The only case when culture can be destroyed is if the CEO of the company leaves, or if it's a strictly authoritarian company and the department head leaves, because then they will likely take the entire department with them. Then the culture will change. In all other cases, if we consider the staff levels where the mathematical majority of our staff changes with a couple of people not changing the corporate culture. Third, culture ensures the sustainability of engagement. When I, as an employee, share the company's values, when these values resonate with me, when my behavior is considered completely appropriate in terms of the plan and values, then I consider the company as my own. That is, I am engaged in this company because it aligns with my principles and values. And fourth, culture eats strategy for breakfast. You might have heard this expression. Peter Drucker said it. Strategy and culture are actually one of the levers available to our leaders. But unfortunately, not everyone understands this. Strategy offers us a formal logic for the company's goals and aligns people around them. And culture expresses goals through values and guides activities through group norms. That is how we will achieve these goals through behavior. In fact, culture is a unique way through which your company can achieve goals and fulfill the brand promises you make to your consumers. Let's continue. The difference between climate and culture. Climate is about the feelings. Climate is about how people feel about what is happening in the company. We often don't think about the fact that each employee has a user experience with their employer. Even when we don't think about it, but we feel what and how things are happening. And culture helps determine why we feel this way, why we have a particular climate in the organization. We will have a large number of models, patterns, and methods. This is the first one. This is Edgar Schein's model of cultural levels. He is an American organizational psychologist. He also has a large number of works in the HR field. He identifies 3 levels of corporate culture, depending on their visibility. Above water, you see artifacts. This includes our logo, branded products, processes, policies, traditions, norms, and so on. Why are they considered well known? Because they are easy to recognize. Branded products can be seen and touched. Logos are everywhere. We see them all the time, and they are easy to decipher. When you read the company's standards, when you read the policies and procedures, you understand what is expected of you, how the company views actions in various circumstances, and so on. Then, there are things that cannot be deciphered so quickly. Values include the company's strategy, goals, and philosophy, which are easy to research because they might be in the public domain, right? We can look at the values of many companies, but they are hard to decipher. Why is it difficult to decipher the mission or philosophy? Because when a company says, "We strive to make the lives of our people better," that's a wonderful mission. How it is implemented, you can find out by looking at what is offered, how it is offered, what kind of product it is, whether you are an employee, a client, or otherwise. At the company Hyatt Hotels Corporation, there is purpose. We care for people so they can be their best. You won't understand anything from this. How are they planning to do this within the framework of values, within the framework of policy procedures? So these moments in this model are underwater. It's impossible to decipher them being not in the company. And of course, at the core lie basic concepts. We talked about this in the corporate culture description in the first definition. This is our mentality, our feelings, views, and beliefs. This is what we fundamentally have from the very beginning. Okay, so we finished first section of this module. See you on the next section.